So there's a lot of people that will stay silent and neutral when it comes to the type of flattery that these people design in people's lives. It's a counterfeit of the prophetic message and of prophecy because it lacks the backbone of that kind of supportive truth and love. And instead, it's all of those truths and loves are meant to be weaponized to enslave rather than to edify us. And so you have people that are neutral supporters as opposed to being people that can come outward open. And for some, you understand why. They too are dealing with enough attacks that it's hard to do this and manage to come out in the light of day and say what is. But the infiltration by flattery is to love bomb you to gain access to your inner courts, where it's rooted in that false light and it mimics a divine favor in your life, and it's to disarm you from the spiritual discernment and bypass your natural defenses. So they pose as supportive friends, supportive lovers, meaning to mask your reality in this game of covert warfare. And they mirror back only what they can later utilize to weaponize. That is something that you'll actually discover being a pattern. And so the next part is that they'll surveil you, and they'll disguise all of your concerns in some kind of an emotional checkup or check-in, meaning to collect your data or any other kind of monitoring spirit that could come in and move in like the python to put a chokehold on your spirit's growth and your agility to sound sense of mind. And so you really need to be able to establish that peace at times of need. But they do this and manipulate you in real time, and it's based on your words and your actions and your weaknesses now that they have you completely moving like putty in their hands. And through that, it's very concerning because you don't get to confess the things that are being distorted upon you. Based on them being distorted upon you, you don't know where it's coming from. You can't reason through it because it doesn't actually make sense to you. None of it makes sense to you. And it's a spiritual warfare that is in the type of where the real care could liberate you. It's all about the fake concern, the witchcraft, wearing a smile, spiritually stalking you, wearing the badge of compassion, and playing up two roles, you see. So they trigger this implantation through phrases that you would say or through things that you would do to express yourself. But what they're doing is programming your inner sanctum, basically, with these specific frames, basically like bait and switching you. And these things can get really rooted into the sorcery where they utilize these things as tools to evoke you, to provoke you, to push you, to put you in a thought loop of processes, I guess, is how it's written here. But I think I meant more like that it's rooted to evoke the very demons that they are persistent or are upon you in your life and are conflicting you. They're like trying to throw you in that bait just specifically to use it later to trick you. It's the bait and switch, and they switch all the time over a lot of different ways and things. But they get you to like relive your trauma and remain emotionally arrested to what your daily needs would be in love. and your need to be able to activate your inner self, your own inner sanctum for yourself. They need to be able to put this into submission and arrest it, basically. Basically, they want to create something that they know is going to be painful for you, and that once it's painful for you in your story, they're going to utilize that to completely terrorize you. So the words are more like mixtures of these portals where people are just sending in whatever they want, wherever they want, insisting their own, their own criminal matters and their own criminal operation is like being well swept underneath the rug so that these people can get away with the warfare through not only the frequencies, the energies, the reverse praises. It's all to encamp you as though you're not good enough to try and grow. And though you try and you try and push, and you don't at times know what you're pushing through. Now I do, but at times that you don't know what you're pushing through, it's like your soul's rhythm or circadian rhythm is all out of whack because you don't know what is happening to you. You see, until you're able to get that out of you and you are actually able to work stuff out of you. So energy helps, being able to move helps, and sweat things out help. But ultimately, when you don't know these attacks are coming from so close of people, you just don't know, you don't know what to do with what you're conflicted with because they're strategically playing up on two roles, you see. They're strategically being double-minded in all of their games, in all of their warfare, and everything that they're doing to psychologically manipulate you and push you off under so that they can continue to get away with their aims, which and what I'm saying is this identity theft, because it's always been stealing every last thing away from me. So what would make more sense than to steal me up out of life, liberty, and my ability to even mouth anything of this in the timeliest of fashion to silence me forever. And then they get away with this identity theft. And it's sad. Anyway, peace. I gotta go. Thanks for being here, though. I really mean it. I need people that can understand this stuff.